If you like this episode, please rate the podcast 5 stars 6 and take it home. This podcast is a member of Bun Collective.
You make my heart sing. You make everything groovy. Come on, wild thing.
Welcome to your unfiltered Tagalog Wrestling Podcast. And this is the MTV Show Podcast, a wrestling podcast. Hello, check. Is better now. Welcome to the podcast. Today on the pod, we dedicate this episode to the life of Jay Briscoe. Jay Briscoe passed away at the age of 38 in a car accident few days before his birthday. Today is Mark Briscoe's birthday. Today on the podcast, we are giving tribute to the life of Jay Briscoe. And on this show, we are going to give a 10-bell salute. Then, after of the commercials, we'll do a short eulogy to the life of Jay Briscoe. May you rest in peace.
Picture this: two guys talking about true crime,
Weird mysteries.
horror stories,
But the conversation is light.
and mostly funny.
and sometimes naughty.
This is Scriptsalog.
A Spotify exclusive.
I'm Gideon.
And I'm Glenn, and we're serving huge portions of horror and true crime twice a week.
We'll make sure your cravings are satisfied.
And you'll be begging for more.
Char.
Check us out.
This is Scriptsalog, available exclusively on Spotify.
Okay. Kahit pa paano, so, welcome to the show. Jay Briscoe's passing is still crashing my shit. It almost crashed my heart last Tuesday, last Wednesday rather. Wednesday in the Philippines, no? So, it's a bad news not only for the Ring of Honor fans, kundi sa lahat ng fans ng pro wrestling towards and all around the world. And I can't resist my feelings. Hindi ko kayang pigilin to actually. And while thinking about this short tribute, actually naalala nyo, ito magkukwento lang konti. Alam nyo, last month, few episodes ago, tanda ko, I'm pissed when Us Boys was used as a battle pass or for short excuse pass, knowing na Briscoes can't appear on TV, 'di ba? And I'm pleased on them getting title shots. And di ko masyado ni-regret yung thought ko na yan. No? Then, days later, we got the title match, dog collar, final battle. That was easily one of the greatest match that I watched, or biggest tag team match that I watched on pay-per-view. The pay-per-view was amazing. And hindi ko kaya pigilin, ayoko maging plastic. Pero that was one of the greatest matches that I watched on pay-per-view. I feel so sad about this tragic stuff about Jay Briscoe and his passing is spreading throughout the world. Even WWE acknowledged the death of Jay Briscoe on TV thanks to Big Joseph and Booker T on the commentary of NXT yesterday. And yeah, and it was mentioned on Dynamite earlier before the recording. But knowing the stuff sa Warner, hindi siya i-mention doon throughout the Warner platforms. Instead, they did a tribute night for Jay Briscoe na i-upload sa Honor Club at saka sa YouTube channel ni ROH. I-upload siya doon for free. So you can watch that, you can view kung, ewan ko nga, kung probably today when I release this episode, free na siya sa YouTube. You can watch it on Honor Club at saka sa YouTube ng ROH. Yeah. Hindi ako fan, ito sabihin ko simple lang na eulogy. Hindi ako fan ng Briscoes. Okay? But they got my respect. I love the guys, knowing na Jay specifically, nabatikos to dahil sa mga takes niya. And he kept apologized on it. Wala tayong pagkakamali doon. Wala tayong ano doon. May sinabi siya, mali yun. And we forgive him for that. Everyone gets their second chances naman. So, I think Jay Briscoe deserves it too. And he proved that every time, every day na he is the guy, tuloy-tuno siya. And he is still the champion that you guys are looking up. Ayun. So, from the bottom of my heart, we love you. And may you rest in peace. We will pray for you. And I hope you and Brody will be together in a wrestling ring in heaven. That was incredible. Okay, welcome to the podcast. Medyo kalmado muna ako. I'm not into this mood of being pissed to everyone today. And I decided that in that way. Sansyan nyo na medyo malumanay ako today because of that happenings. Di ako naiyak. I tried to cry last night but I can't. Sobrang sakit ng nangyari na ito. Personally, sobrang sakit. As in, I'm watching NXT yesterday and it still hits me. Pinipigil ko yung emotions ko. But we have to move on. We're going to continue this episode today on the podcast. Okay, so first thing foremost, let's do our stuff here. So we want to congratulate and we want to thank all of everyone who is supporting the podcast in any way, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and on TikTok at the MT Show Pod. And syempre sa lahat ng nakikinig, sumusuporta, nagbabasa din ng ating mga reviews on Patreon and Gank. Mayon, maraming maraming salamat. So, I'm not going to mention the scores na for Hard to Kill moving forward since ando na siya. Doon ko na siya i-upload moving forward. Tapos, ababa. Ayun lang naman. So, we want to give a shout out to our Stay Reso subscriber sa Patreon natin na si Rider OZ who just subscribed just few days ago. Mga 3 days na ata siyang subscriber on Patreon. Thank you for supporting the podcast as well. And if hindi pa kayo nakaka-subscribe on Patreon, you can visit our Patreon. Patreon.com/the MTG Show Pod. Ayun. So, yung mga patrons natin, we can, basically, you guys are supporting the podcast. And, of course, you will be joined. And, you can join our discussions, of course, on Patreon. At saka yung, syempre, yung stuff doon, some spoilers that you never seen before on the podcast. Plus, lahat ng posts on the Patreon and Gank will be open for you guys if you guys are member of our Patreon. So, yan. Yun lang naman. So, nagiging open naman yung posts natin sa Patreon and Gank at some points lang. Then, yun. Yun na yun. So, again, kung shoutout kay Rider O2, Rider O2, Rider OZ for subscribing to our Patreon. And hello to our patron. So, thank you for subscribing. Mamaya babasahin natin yung thoughts pala. We're going to do a Raw 30 question. May question tayo on our Discord community na sinagutan naman. Konti lang naman to, don't worry. So, ayun, let's start our podcast with the Hard to Kill thoughts. No? Let's start the show with Hard to Kill. Hindi ko na i-rate ito sa number system since nandun na sa Gank at sa Patreon natin, patreon.com/the MTG Show Pod. So yun lang naman. Let's do our review of Hard to Kill pay-per-view. Okay? So let's start with the main event. Mickie James defeating Jordynne Grace for the Impact Knockouts World Championship in a title versus career match. So, Jordynne is one of the greatest women that I've seen on Impact. And Mickie James competing on that level, it's different. Tama. Then, that was a really good match. They are trying na higitan yung nangyari sa unang match, which is Josh Alexander versus Bully Ray. They're trying to be better on that. But, parang may something akong hinahanap on that match na wala doon. And hindi nila nabigay sa atin. I think the only problem that I have, it's very obvious that Mickie James will win eventually. I don't see Mickie leaving the company yet. But down the line, I wish na if she's good to go na for retirement, I hope na the last company na pupuntahan niya is WWE. But regardless, that was a really good match between Jordynne and Mickie James for the Impact Knockouts World Title. So, let's talk about the Full Metal Mayhem between Josh Alexander and Bully Ray. So, for me, that was a smash. Ito sabihin ko, that was a smash, man. That was a really good match between Bully and Alexander. Plus, dagdag pa natin yung asawa ni Josh interrupt the match, or She joined the prey on the match. Tapos she attacked she attacked Bully Ray. Then that was a really good that was a really good finish. Then eventually yung 450 kick out. Then yung ankle lock doon sa dulo. And then eventually Bully Ray tapped out. Man, the whole match personally was a banger, and definitely papanoorin ko ulit to. One of the greatest things in the recent Impact history is this gem that you're looking right now. Okay, so some matches pa on the card that we need to look up. So Moose was defeated by Joe Hendry by pinfall after of the appearance of Santino Marella. Ayun, sabihin ko ulit yung thought ko about that. Sinabi ko sa Patreon at sa Gank na hindi nagsusut si Santino as a authority figure based on that impression. Pero I will give him a chance. Sasabihin ko sa inyo. I will give him a chance kung kaya niya na pigilin yung pagiging comedic stuff ni Bully Ray. Ni Santino. Sana makontrol niya yon down the line. Kasi I can't take him seriously as a authority figure. I swear to God, I can't. Ayun. So, ano pa? A four-way match for the number one contendership for the Impact Knockouts Women's title took place between Diona Purrazzo, Killer Kelly, and Masha Slamovich and Taylor White. Masha won the match in a really good 9-minute match. That was great. So, Motor City Machine Guns defeated Heath Slater and Rhino, Major Players, and Bullet Club, Ace Austin, and Chris Bay in a four-way elimination match. That was a really good match. Trey Miguel defeated Black Taurus in a kick-off match pre-show during Hard to Kill Countdown. Okay, that was a really good match to retain the title, the X Division. So, Rich Swann lost to Steve Macklin in a false count anywhere. You know what I like about this false count anywhere? It's literally anywhere. Ayun, going back, I fixed my shit. Ayun. So going back, that was a really good match between Rich Swann versus Steve Macklin in a false count anywhere. And the only thing that I love about this match is literally anywhere. The match took place anywhere. And that was a really good match. Diba? Then, ayun. So, Eddie Edwards defeated Jonathan Gresham. Wow. Nakakapanibago. Yun ang impression ko. Nakakapanibago. But yeah, that was a really good matchup. If you ask me for the Impact Hard to Kill card, that was like a solid card overall. Pero hindi ko sabihin na, okay. Ito bigyan ko kayo ng opinion about Impact putting their shows on Friday. Countering SmackDown na hindi pa rin nag-air on One Sports Plus, by the way. Alam niyo, the problem of this is they're countering big shows and I hate it. Maganda sana kung ang mga pay-per-views, i-normalize sana natin na Saturday o Sunday, no? Mas maganda sana yung ganong approach kasi I believe na pay-per-views must be on Saturday. On Sunday, fight nights is on Saturday. Main events or boxing is on Saturday na rin. So, that's a big factor para dapat ilagay na ng Saturday o Sunday in the US yung kanilang mga ano, yung kanilang mga pay-per-views. The concern kasi dito, ang katapat kasi niyang malaki, SmackDown. Maganda rin ang mga nangyari ng SmackDown. Discuss natin in a bit. No? But, yeah, Impact hard to kill. Personally, I can give it overall a solid 7. Yeah, solid 7 is enough. Number 1, bakit ko binigyan ng solid 7? The Alexander versus Bully Ray alone, I can give it 5 whenever I want. If ilalagay mo to sa ibang events, that will be great too. Then, the Mickey James, Jordan thing, it's kind of predictable, but we want another Mickey James run. Magpakatotoo na tayo doon. And down the line, Masha Slamovich will beat Mickey James and she will retire for good. Ayun, then the matches, yung mga workhorses matches dito on the card, yung mga solid din, yung false count, yung kina Steve Macklin, that was a really good too. Yung kina Eddie Edwards, kina Gresham, that was a really good too. Yung tag tyros is okay lang. I'm still pissed on Santino's promotion as the Director of Authority of Impact. I can't take him seriously, man. Sabihin ko na ulit dito, I can't take him seriously on, WWE, on his run in WWE. I can't take him seriously. Hindi ko siya kayang seryosohin. I love the character. Hindi ko kayang seryosohin pag nagpapatawa na. O kaya yung tinatry mong mag seryoso, pero natatawa ka ba din? It's bad. Hindi bagay si Santino as a authority figure. But kaya nasabi ko kanina, I will give it a chance. Kasi yeah, it's his first night as the authority figure. So definitely I will give it a chance. Tapos the women's four-way is fine. I don't see na maganda siya na pang undercard. Yeah, it's fine for me. The most Joe Hendry is fine. Okay lang naman siya sa akin. Then definitely the two advertised main events are just bangers. And yung tatlong gems na nakita natin, yung kina Gresham, Eddie Edwards, yung false count anywhere, at saka yung sa four-way tag tyros, definitely top 3 undercard matches ko for the card of Hard to Kill. So yun lang naman. The ratings of the pay-per-view is now on our Patreon and Gank. Subscribers can see everything about the ratings, by the way. And then yung naka-open pa sa Patreon yon until tomorrow. I-open natin siya until tomorrow, Saturday. Sasara natin yon din for patrons na lang ulit yung rankings na yun, yung mga rating na yun. So, yun lang naman sa akin for Impact Hard to Kill. I love the whole pay-per-view. The pay-per-view feels all-round lang. The things that I love about Impact is their pay-per-views being all-rounder. May masama, may maganda, may cinematic thing, may masaseryoso ka talaga, may banger, and kompletos recados eh. The only problem that they have is why they're still performing in front of 501k people. It's a little bit concerning at this point. But yeah, it's a little bit understandable then why they have to do this. But hindi din siya practical na 1,000 lang yung yung mga manonood every pay-per-view. Sana gawin man nilang mga 5k, ganyan. Kasi the people who doesn't watch Impact Wrestling deserves to watch Impact Wrestling. I know pay-per-views are accessible through YouTube. The shows is accessible on Access TV, on YouTube. But we need this stuff. Kahit gawin man nilang maala ROH ng AEW, to, hindi man kalaki ang arenas, pero they deserve arena shows now. I swear to God. I wish on Slammiversary they can do pay-per-views once again on arenas. And ako ang unang matutuwa doon. I swear to God, if they did that, ako ang unang matutuwa on that move. Ha? So yun lang naman sa akin. The ratings again is on Patreon and Yank. I hope you all can check that out. If you want to subscribe on our Patreon, you can join our discussions as well on the podcast. When we come back on the pod, we are going to do a WWE review plus Dynamite. Tapos pag-usapan natin on the third half yung what is my greatest Raw moments for the past 10 years. Pag-usapan natin yon on the podcast and yeah, ayun. So yun lang naman, titigyan din natin yung mga thoughts ng ating mga patrons doon sa podcast Discord namin. So we'll take a short break and let's check our bunkmates on Bunk Collective.
Hey everyone, this is Mo Twister, and you're listening to the Kingdom Podcast with the voice DJ Yuki.
That was the OG, Mo Twister, promoting this podcast. If you like Korean pop culture, or know someone who does, then get into it, and visit our Facebook, Twitter and Instagram pages at the Kingdom Pod PH.
We're proud to tell you that this is one of the premier shows to go to for your weekly dose of K-pop. So drop everything and listen to the Kingdom Podcast. Available in all your podcast streaming platforms.
Join us!
Okay, welcome back to the podcast. Let's do a WWE review now. So, yeah. Let's start with the Gunta versus Braun Strowman. Itong ano to, for transparency, I watched the whole shit. Okay, so for transparency, I watched the whole SmackDown episode after Hard to Kill. Okay? So, pinanood ko to after na ng Hard to Kill. And I have to. And konti lang naman yung noticeable on this episode of SmackDown. So, let's get down to it. Let's start with Braun Strowman losing to Gunta. The match was great. I'm impressed kahit paano. I don't like this Braun Strowman return so far. Hindi ko siya matripan. Pero it proves to me that Braun Strowman is a all-rounder talent to me. No? Ito all-rounder. Let's define all-rounder dito sa show. No? All-rounder can wrestle, can act like serious things, and can act yung mga yung pang-clown, yung pang-gago lang. I think he can do that. And also, definitely has promo skills kahit paano. So, Braun has promo skills kahit paano. He has that skill. And yeah, it proves to me that Braun Strowman is an all-rounder din naman. And Gunther, on the other hand, Gunter, whatever. Gunter's definitely a favorite since he debuted on the main roster and eventually he won the title. I cannot wait to see the WrestleMania plans for this man. I swear to God, I can't wait. Okay, let's talk about the Bray Wyatt thing. Okay? Sabihin ko sa inyo, still slow pa din yung way of how they build Bray Wyatt. And actually at some point parang naisip ko na lang na si LA Knight na lang parang nagdadala nitong build na to. Yeah, it's fine to me. It's still slow. But I hope in the Royal Rumble they can complete what they are trying to book within the storylines and Yuki Alexa and Bianca Belair. So I hope they can explain that too. Mahaba pa eh. Mahaba-haba pang explanation ito if you guys are watching Raw and SmackDown. No. Then, so on backstage, Liv Morgan was confronted by Raquel, no? Raquel Gonzalez. Or Raquel Rodriguez. Raquel Gonzalez na ako lagi. So, it's Raquel Rodriguez was confronted or she confronted Liv Morgan backstage. And then, she was slapped by Liv Morgan. And with slapping Raquel. Okay. So, with you slapping Raquel, you deserve to lose. Alam mo, I love how they reestablished Raquel here. But to lose to win against Liv Morgan, WWE's Flavor of the Month. It's just plain stupid by WWE here. But yeah, I love Raquel, but I don't see na is this the perfect time for Raquel Rodriguez? No. Ayun, so I love how they book Raquel, but in cost of Liv Morgan, nah. Okay, let's continue with the main event of SmackDown. It's Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. The match was great. I say this all the time, and every time they fight, it turns into a nightmare for everyone who is watching since Ring of Honor days. But yeah, the match was ended disqualification because the Usos and Solo Sikoa attacked Kevin Owens, and ayun, they put him on the table with Sami Zayn was face palmed, was pissed on the bloodline after that assault to Kevin Owens. So siguro may feelings pa siya kay KO. Upset silang lahat why they attacked KO. Yun. Going back, kasi nagloloko-loko na yung ko. Yung audio ko. So, continue tayo on Raw. So, Raw, we got the Usos and Judgment Day. The match itself is set for Raw 30. Raw is XXX. Then, ayun, for the tag titles, Raw tag titles specifically. So, maganda. Ayun. Boy. So, magandang implication na magkaiba na yung booking sa Raw at SmackDown tag titles. Hindi ko siya nasabi sa podcast last week. Pero I swear, magandang implication ito na pag ihiwalayin na nila yung tag team division and tag team titles thanks to this booking by Adam Pearce last week. Ayun, so natatandaan nyo, on last week's episode of Raw, we have a gauntlet match to determine the number one contender for the Raw tag titles. And Judgment Day won. Tapos, so we got this really good confrontation between Judgment Day and the Usos. Judgment Day is working as winners here on this match and dispute. No? It's fine for me. It's fine. So, sa Raw naman, aside from that, wala naman tayo dapat ganong i-mention aside from the Bianca Belair was challenged by Alexa Bliss to a match at the Royal Rumble. It's fine. Okay lang. Then Cody Rhodes announced his entry to the Royal Rumble match. Okay lang. It's okay for me. But ewan ko din, parang nawawala na yung essence ng pag-surprise when it comes to Royal Rumble entries. Sa akin lang naman yun. Then, ayun lang naman. Then we have the elimination match, 6-way elimination match to determine the number one contender for the US title at Raw 30. So, Bobby Lashley won the match for Raw 30. Bobby Lashley won. And to see Bobby Lashley winning this match, it definitely means something for Bobby Lashley. Not only to Bobby Lashley, but to the whole new version of Hurt Business, including Omos. And I feel so good about this. I hope Omos down the line can get his own championship. And then the tag team here, I hope they can get their tag titles down the line as well. And that will be great for me. That's for sure. Then, ayun na nga. But the match was fine. The elimination match was fine. Okay lang siya sa akin. Wala akong ganong naging problema about it. And, ayun naman. Wala naman akong ganong complaints. Let's go on to NXT now. So, we have a tag team match between Apollo Crews and Axiom versus Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. The match was, the match was cool. I love it. But I can forget this match once I finished NXT. So, ganun lang naman. Once we finish the NXT episode, we can forget about this. Yun yung impression ko about this. Then, Alba Fire versus Sol Ruca. So, Sol Ruca defeated Alba Fire. Then, she challenged to KC. KC Catanzaro or Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. Then, ayun na nga, the match was set for next week's NXT. Then, Tiffany Stratton was barking backstage because Indy Hartwell took over her locker room. And Indy said na you're calling us pigs, then you can get your own locker room elsewhere. That was a really good shot. And yun, that was a really good stuff here. Then, ayun, dadagdagan natin. So, Thea Hale of Chase U get her first win next day. I love how they did this story with Chase U, tapos magse-celebrate pa sila next week. Ay, putya. I love the characters ng Chase U dito. I know Chase U is very organic. Hindi na siya organic, medyo cheesy pa nga. Pero on the way they build this kayfabe school, that was so good, man. From Andre Chase acting like a professor, si Duke bilang mascot, bilang big man ng Chase U, then Thea Hale was student. It's so nice to see Chase U building up on that way and introducing themselves as a stable na titingin ko papatok sa main roster if you ask me. Kung maganda yung booking, of course. Then, ayun, we get a tribute to Jay Briscoe thanks to Tom Phillips. Big Joseph and Booker T. The commentators mentioned it on TV, so it's good for them as part of the magiging solid nila sa Ring of Honor talent star si Jay Briscoe. Then ayun, so the storyline here between Brooks and Jensen and Fallon Henley continued and got expand officially. So, yun na nga. So, Gallows defeated Brooks and Jensen. Then, Fallon Henley, which is so fine on that segment, by the way. And Kiana James got into a altercation stuff. Then, si Jensen kasi, she was confronted by, Fallon. And then sinabi niya na na-in-love si Jensen kay Kiana James. Tapos itong si Fallon, parang sinasabi niya na, bibiguin ka rin yan. Diyos ko. And later on the show, she said na, alright. Kaya mag-team up ako sa kanya. Like, where's the continuity here? Na sige, magbigyan pa natin. Siguro pili ko down the line, the Briggs and Jensen tag team will split up. And then Briggs will join Fallon Henley. Kahit cheesy to, but it works. I swear, the storyline works. I love it. And I said it before, I said it again. It's Fallon Henley, one of the finest women in NXT right now. I swear to God. Aside from Tiffany Stratton, given na yun. Si Valerie, yun, just fine too. Si Lola. Lola kasi tangin ng pangalan dyan. Tsaka si Gigi kasi she's given eh. Given na siya eh. Maganda talaga si Gigi. Roxanne Perez is fine. Yeah, there's a lot of women who's fine. Even si Lyra Valkyria, man, I love her without a gimmick. I swear to God. Shit. Here we go again. I have to edit this. I swear to God, Lyra is so good without the wings, without the makeup, and the gear na ginagamit niya on her gimmick. Man, it's so good to see Lyra on that. Man, I love it. I love how the gimmick changed for her. No. Okay. So we got a three-way promo here. It's so weird lang to see Gallows appearing two times on the show. So New Day, Pretty Deadly, and Gallows is set for NXT Vengeance Day, and binago nila yung segment. Supposedly, dapat ito ay isang funeral for Pretty Deadly's title shot ng New Day. So, New Day and Shawn Michaels, nung nalaman nila na Jay Briscoe died, they have to change the segment, and si Shawn pumayag naman sa ideya na yun. Kahit last minute, and pumayag sila doon. And personally, I love the segment better. Personally. Hindi ko may imagine if wala yung balita at hindi na mention on TV. Siguro that will be disappointing and wrong timing. Okay. Main event. So, we got Roxanne Perez and Lyra Valkyria versus Toxic Attraction. With Toxic Attraction, muntikan na ulit mag-miscommunication. I'm glad they did it. And Roxanne eventually got the win over Toxic Attraction. And it's something to look forward on the stable, and especially to the match na mangyayari sa Vengeance Day. That will be great for sure. Plus, we got promos between Braun Breaker and Grayson Waller. Yeah, that will be great stuff for NXT Vengeance Day 2. And yeah, ayun. So, that's it for our NXT. Let's go on to Dynamite now. So, Dynamite was fun earlier. Sabihin ko lang, that was fun. I'm going to do the recap now since mahaba na yung episode ko. So, Orange Cassidy defeated Jay Lethal with Jay Lethal's cohorts, Jeff Jarrett, si Sajay Dat, tsaka si Gurang, si Satnam Singh. Di ba sila sino nga ito, mga putang na to. Yung Jeff Jarrett and Friends na nga lang. Sige, Jeff Jarrett and Friends was banned from the arena. Then they have to buy fucking tickets just to be part of Dynamite. And pag inatake ng kahit isa sa kanila, si La Orange Cassidy, mababan fired si Sajay Dat as the managers for all of them. So, wala silang ginagawa doon. They're trolling something. I love the appearance as well of Danhausen here and best friends. Sobrang on point ang pagpasok nila on the stuff. And yeah, that was a really good fun match. Basically, umikot lang sa possible firing kay, kay Sajay that. Yeah, that was fun. So, then, we got Top Flight versus Young Bucks with Top Flight defeating Bucks in a tag team match. And I can say here is, man, I cannot wait for a 6 tag match. Pwede nyo nang isama si AR Fox dear. AR Fox. Then fucking suck. Or fucking suck. They can fucking wrestle, and definitely this is a really good TV match, I swear to God. But speaking of Dynamite, where's the storyline between Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland? Wala na yung story na yun. Kahit sa Rampage, hindi ko na rin nakikita yun. I'm confused here. Okay, continue tayo. So, Bryan Danielson defeated Bandido in a really, really, really good match on Dynamite second hour. It was a really good match. I love it. May candidate na agad ako sa match of the week ko. Okay, then ayun na nga. So we have Tony Storm versus Willow Nightingale with Saraya interrupting the match and Tony Storm doing heel tactics. Then after the match, which is Tony won, Tony Storm and Saraya just turned heel and attacked Willow Nightingale. And Hikaru Shida is just watching from the I don't know what the fuck they are just doing here. Tony Khan is just messing the whole roster right now. Basically, that's what he's doing right now. It's just dumb. It's just dumb. Dumb, as in. Parang mas basura pa siya sa basura. And it's just dumb. And wala na. Naruin na rin yung comeback tour ni Saraya. Just like that, they ruined it. Ayun, ang downline naman natin dito, eventually, Ruby Soho will turn on Willow Nightingale. And then, baka si Mercedes makasali rin dito. May isa pa ako nahuhulaan that maybe Jimmy Hater will join the homegrown team at saka si Britt Baker. Pero ewan ko din kasi may binuburo din na heel turn or face turn for Jimmy Hater lang Pero maybe, let's see what's going to happen next kasi mahaba-haba pa tong Revolution at mahaba-haba pa tong poke ng build-up mo to. And I can't wait to see more disastrous things. Especially on the women's side of AEW. Okay, the main event of AEW Dynamite was the Darby Allin versus Kushida. Yeah, I love the match. That was a really good match. Solid main event to cap off Dynamite. But not same as the 6 tag for the Trio Styro last week. But yeah, this is good too. That was a really good match by Kushida. And I wish we can see Kushida in other Dynamite shows down the line. No? I cannot wait to see him in your future. Then, continue tayo with Rampage. So, I have my thoughts on the TJ match versus Ruby Soho and Willow Nightingale. Man, alam nyo, maayos naman mag-book ng matches ang AEW when it comes to women. Maayos, solid. Ang problema ko lang with AEW when it comes to this stuff is wala silang hindi sila nabibigyan ng matinong storylines Like, ito na nga, yung kagaya nga ng kina Saraya last week lang, parang they're acting like baby faces. And now, they're fucking heels. That was random as fuck. The random was random pa sa random. The turns was random to begin with. And it's just dumb. See? That's how dumb AEW is. Okay, so yeah, bibigyan lang naman ng magandang booking ng AEW. That will be great. But with AEW, na hindi nila kayang mabalance yung good storylines at yung good matches, then talo rin sila doon the line. Talo sila doon. Diba? And yeah, that's it for our Dynamite thoughts for this week. So, yun lang naman. We will discuss Raw 30 thoughts on our third half of the podcast together with our Patreon questions. Mamaya pag-usapan natin when we come back. We will go to our commercial break. Let's check our bunkmates on Bunk Collective.
Bakit mabaho ang utot?
Lulubog na ba ang Pilipinas?
Mahihain ba ang makahiya? Bakit bumabagyo sa Pinas?
Mga katanungang bumabagabag sa kaisipan ni Juan, halika, bigyan natin ng mga siyentipikong kasagutan. Ito ang inyong gurong lakan mula sa Bulacan, Sir Red. At ito ang Hainay na Tagham the Podcast Year 2. Pakinggan sa lahat ng major podcast streaming platforms. Tara, matuto, magsaliksik, magkaroon ng dagdag na kaalaman. Haynayan, magpakailanman.
Ayun, so welcome back to the podcast. Ito yung question ko for the fans of the podcast and for the fans of Raw basically. Raw is 30, is coming next week. What is the top 5 Raw moments for the past 10 years? Ito So, we have some answers here. So, we have Kyle Martin. Ayun, number 1, the Roman Reigns promo after WrestleMania 33. Okay, I love the promo. It's very simple. And hell, that was one of the greatest Raw moments of 2017, by the way. Then, the debut of Paige, man, that was memorable as hell. Then 3, Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman's promo after when CM Punk left the company. Yeah, that was honorable mention ko din. Ito sa akin to, opinion ko to. I love the Paul Heyman. Okay, I love the Paul Heyman promo when he explained kung bakit niya binetray si Paul Heyman ay si CM Punk noong 2013 when they have this Best of the World versus the Beast storyline. Yeah. Then number 4, Seth Rollins betraying the Shield. Yeah, definitely one of the most heartbreaking moments in history of the PG era. And number 5, definitely the Gauntlet match in 2018. I remember, I think this is a Elimination Chamber Gauntlet match in 2018. That was fun as hell. Okay, so si Drax ito. He has 3 actually. 3 ata ito. So, number 1 is when Sting made his appearance on Raw. Oh, I think this is the Royal Rumble appearance of Sting. Before the Royal Rumble, yeah. Ito nga yun. Then number 2, yung kay Becky. Ayun. When Becky Lynch relinquished the Raw Women's title to Asuka and she announced her pregnancy. Yeah, ayun, wala siyang audience which is makes me sad then. Ayun, another moment actually according to Martin is the Ultimate Warriors promo before Ayun, before he died next day. Then, si Rider OZ, yung ating patron, Rider OZ, ulitin natin. From our patron, Rider OZ, ayun. Finally, naayos ko din. So, continue natin, seryoso na, with Shane McMahon. When Shane McMahon bought WCW, then, yun, Stone Cold and Triple H versus Chris Jericho and Dame Redacted. Yeah, I don't know kung sino yung Redacted na yan. Then, ayun, so, ito naman yung 10 years ni Ryder, OZ. Nag-ano pa rin yung mic ko. So, ayun. So, when Daniel Bryan turned on the Wyatts in a steel cage, yeah, that was wild as hell. Then, Seth Rollins, The Shield, yeah. Festival of Friendship. I love Festival of Friendship. I swear to God. Then, ayun, Nexus debut then, counted yon. Yeah, counted yon. Then, when Brock Lesnar made his return to WWE, that was wild as hell. Okay ako. I was asked by, I was asked by our patron kung ano yung wait lang. What is my favorite match ever on Raw history? Okay. So, it's hard. Marami ako nagustuhang matches sa Raw. Pero personally, my favorite match was the Cena versus Shawn Michaels. As far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong, ito yung 6-minute time limit sa UK noong birthday ni Cena in 2007. Absolutely banger. One of my favorite matches ever in Raw history was this one. Yun talaga ang una kong naisip na match pagka pinag-uusapan yung Raw. Okay. Yun lang naman. I love it. So, yeah, thank you for our Patreon for asking that question. That was a good question na sumasabay din on the anniversary episode of Raw, no? Next week. Then, ayun naman. Ito, thoughts ko pa about the top 5 Raw moments for the past 30 years. Since nagpa-fuck up yung mic ko kanina, I will mention my shit right now. So, number 1, for me, I love the pipe bomb. Regardless on how fucked up that storyline is, kung paano na fucked up yung storyline na yun, di natin mapagkakaila na on how CM Punk throwed that fucking pipe bomb was on point on the time when CM Punk is pissed on Vince and Triple H. And the execution din, maganda rin yung execution eh. Ang problema lang, nagkakatotoo lahat ng sinasabi ni Punk na masyado siyang arrogante when it comes to his own booking, when his own good. Okay. Number 2 on my own list is personally the Shield split up in 2014. The split up actually turned those 3 into 3 main event guys. And that's amazing actually to see the evolution of all of them. Now Roman Reigns is the champ. Ayun. It's so nice to see Roman Reigns becoming champ. Then Seth Rollins now feuding with Theory. And John Moxley is with AEW. So it's so nice to see them doing their shit on their respective brands and companies. So yun. Then number 3 personal favorite ko was the Nexus debut. No? Yung Nexus debut. That was chaos. Yeah, chaos siya. Pero on the way they executed the product there, was fantastic. On the way they introduced them, that was so good. Ayun, number four personally, gusto ko yung gusto ko i-insert dito yung Women's Revolution, no? When Stephanie introduced Women's Evolution, yeah, that was definitely the game changer for women's division of WWE in general. So, wala doon sa pa-request ng fans na pahabain yung mga matches nila and magkaroon sana ng ganong freedom. And now they're now competing in the pay-per-view, now main eventing events, and now they're getting women's titles, and eventually they're getting something that we are never seen before na hindi na sila tinatratong eye candy. No? Fifth match, fifth thing that I love about this, it's actually Tai. I love the Ultimate Warrior promo on Raw. And ito na nga, yung Mark Henry when he retired. I love it. I love when he said na magre-retire daw siya. And it's just love trip to. when, when he executed the moment anyways, I love the Mark Henry retirement promo. Nagputol-putol na naman yung mic ko. Yeah, but anyways, I love the promo when Mark Henry literally retired on the Raw and then he attacked John Cena afterwards. Yeah, that was amazing for the top 5 greatest moments of Raw history for the past 10 years. Yeah, magpa-post pa ako on the podcast platforms if you want to join our discussions for our Raw 30th anniversary tribute. Okay, let's do our picks of the week. So, my first pick for the men wrestler of the week is Sami Zayn. The woman wrestler of the week is Mickie James. And my top 3 matches of the week, actually tatlo ito kasi dami. Bryan Danielson versus Konosuke Takeshita from Dynamite last week. Then the street fight between TJ and sino nga to? Ruby Soho and Willow Nightingale from Rampage. Also the hard to kill world title match for the Impact World title, Josh Alexander versus Bully Ray. Wow, one of the best matches of the year na agad in 2023. Okay, yun lang naman. So if you want to join the podcast Patreon, just like Razor OZ, you can join, Razor OZ. Rider OZ, anyways, ayan. So if you want to join our Patreon, you can join our stuff over there, patreon.com/the MTG Showpod. You can subscribe to our Patreon, support our Patreon, and support me on the podcast. Of course, patreon.com/the MTG Showpod. Of course, please support me as well on ganknow.com/the MTG Showpod. Then yan. So, plug sa tayo. Follow. Shit. No. Pati ba naman dito, nagpa-fuck up pa din yung mic ko. Okay, so follow the podcast on all of the social media platforms at the MTG Show Pod. Don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/the MTG Show Pod. At may at yun sa unahan. Then you can now donate and support the podcast on Jank and Patreon, janknow.com/the MTG Show Pod. As low as $2 a month. You can access to our subscriber-only content. Plus, you can join our discussions and more to come really, really soon. For more podcasts, visit our Bunk Collective website, thebunkph.com. You can join our discussions over there on our Discord, dsc.gg/bunk. You can follow us as well on our social media at thebunkph. Ayun. So, the podcast is available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, and the rest of the podcast platforms and on the podcast app. Don't forget to rate the podcast 5 stars 6 in Tokyo Dome. All of the links is available on our linktr, linktr.ee/ the MTG Show Podcast. Twitter and Instagram at AG Penera for my personal stuff on Twitter and Instagram. Then support MWF for their stuff for this year 2023, ManilaWrestling.com and sa FPW as well. And sa magiging kalumpa ng World Underground Wrestling Philippines on their platforms. In behalf of DJ Yuki of the Kingdom Podcast and cooperation with Bang Collective, this has been the episode number 145, Impact Hard to Kill review, plus everything what happened, plus J, you will rest in peace, please. Thank you. Stay safe, stay raso. Ingat kayo palagi. See you on the episode. Bye-bye.